हेल्थ और टेस्ट की लड़ाई में अब आप रहिए 2 कदम आगे विद फिलिप्स एयर फ्रायर। इसकी ट्विन टर्बो स्टार टेक्नोलॉजी cooks with up to 90% less fat. There's always a way to make life better. Innovation and you. Philips.
World in a Plate goes live. Finally, we've gone through 3 days of amazing cooking, and I hope you guys are enjoying this format. World on a Plate going live is very, very new to us. We wanted the whole of the country to cook along with some of the top chefs, and that's why we brought some of the top chefs to do these things for you. They're cooking from their homes to yours. And yesterday was really, really fun for me because I got to go to a farm after a long time. The farm lore was such a beautiful experience. Lots of mango trees, greenery, and it's so exciting to see young chefs pushing the envelope. The lore guys are really, really exciting. I mean, we definitely saw their 2 master classes, and thank you for hosting us. It's such a beautiful location. So that was day 3, and moving on, one more great thing which we saw in day 3 was going into someone's home is exciting. Like we saw lots of beautiful kitchens across the country, and the last one was of course Simon. We went to someone's home in Australia with his little doggy Lentil, and it is such a sweet family cooking for 50 minutes. Thank you, chefs. You guys have been really amazing. You're doing a great job contributing your time, your expertise, and teaching people from your homes to their homes using recipes which are available just out of just everywhere to make such brilliant dishes. So moving on, of course, my trip, my love with Australia, happened, the first time I went to Australia in 2015, and went for taste of Melbourne. And the second time around, of course, was recently in 2018, where I managed to go and meet the one and only Marco Pierre White at the Gourmet Escape. The Gourmet Escape happens at the Margaret River. It's a stunning destination, beautiful beaches. It's lots and lots of wine, and it's a great food festival which one should not miss. I can imagine everyone across the world with these massive festivals, beautiful curated festivals. They must be going through so much of pain during these times, and I'm sure we'll make our way back As you know, World on a Plate this time is all about, the industries got together in India for the cause of charity. And you should go do your bit, and support the World Hunger Warriors, for sure. And I know the link is all over, find it on the website, and make sure that you go and contribute with all your heart. Going back to my series of, the behind the scenes of all the things which happened, one of my most special 3 events which I've had, and World on a Plate has hosted, is with none other than the legendary Marco Pierre White. So we were lucky to, 2019 was all about Marco Pierre White, and in the month of January he made his first appearance in Mumbai, and people had told me so much about him, how crazy, what a taskmaster he's at the kitchen, and he's at Hell's Kitchen, which he was once known for. He's taught many legends like the Gordon Ramsays to many of the world. So I was really scared how I'm going to manage, dealing or even working with Marco. So the first time I saw him walking, I went to pick him up at the Bombay airport, and I see this really massive guy who looks like Einstein with his frizzy hair, and I was a little intrigued to know what this man is all about. But then history says it all. Marco has come to us 3 times. The last one was, he's one of the most genuine, friendly guy you'll ever meet. One of the best chefs I've seen in action. The last one was, of course, in February 2020, just before the pandemic hit us. So from, so Marco's stories are going to go on Saturday and Sunday, because he's one of my favorite guys. So much to talk about him, behind the scenes, what we did, what he cooked, and so on. So without too much, going on, let's talk about our next chef for today. The first chef with a DIY kit happened on Friday with Simon, and these DIY kits are really special. 6 of the top chefs are being given DIY kits, and Ajay Chopra, who I'm just going to introduce you. I hope you guys have got his DIY kit. He's a special man, a former judge of MasterChef India, a very close buddy. We hung out in 2018 when he was a part of the Sumeru team. We were doing a charity show, and charity puts all of us together, and Ajay was one of them. I got to know really close because of charity, and I'm really excited about his class because I see a lot of Indian chefs using Indian ingredients, Indian style techniques, delivering some exciting different cuisines. Like, I think he's making something exciting around Mexican cuisine with the Indian twist to it. So I'm excited to see the masterclass. I hope you guys are going to go cook along with us, and I'm going to see you soon on the other side. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to WOAP Masterclass. Well, I'm so excited to be at home yet be at a masterclass, because till the last year and the year before, I was a part of WOAP in Bangalore as well as in Mumbai, and we were obviously in a big ground with a lot of crowd and big chefs coming in from all across the world. Last year we had Marco Pierre White coming in. It was such an honor to meet him. So first of all, thank you, Kiran. Thank you, WOAP team, to still put together this amazing WOAP sessions all across online, and definitely for the cause of charity. I just want to say something that that touched my heart when Kiran spoke to me, that it is about reaching out to your local community. And thank you so much, all of you who are joining in and being a part of this charity, because this is going to make everybody else happy. We have definitely got blessed by God to have a roof on our we are definitely blessed to have a roof on our heads. We are definitely blessed to have food on our tables. but there are many that who do not have this. So that is why we are coming together for this cause, and we are going to have an amazing time cooking, sharing, cooking along. So let's begin. Today for you guys, I have got an amazing dish, which is a Sindhi dish, very popular, dal pakwan. I'm sure everybody has heard about dal pakwan because it is actually one of the Sindhi favorites. But I have done a dal pakwan makeover. I've done a dal pakwan nachos, and it's a very interesting recipe because how the pakwan becomes a nacho, how the dal becomes the bean sauce. We still have the salsa, we still have the sour cream, we still have the jalapenos, and we still have the gorgeousness of dal pakwan, yet it becomes an amazing dal pakwan nachos. So I'm going to take you now to my humble kitchen, and we will go there and start cooking the dal pakwan nachos. Alright, so all this while you have been watching me in some studio or the other. Welcome to my kitchen. आज आपके लिए बढ़िया से दाल पकवान nachos बनने वाले हैं. Well, I'm going to make some amazing dal pakwan nachos for you. We are going to cook along, so please follow all the steps. We are going to go step by step. I'm going to take it slow and steady and show you every single step and the nuances there. So let's begin. I will tell you that there are three major components to this dish. One is obviously the dal, which is to be boiled and also has to be given a tempering, and the other one is making the nachos, which is the biggest part. And then there is the garnishes, the things which will come on top. So there is tomato salsa, there is whipped sour cream made at home, and then there is a bit of jalapenos which are going to be strewed around. So this is really it, a simple dish but elevated to come into a modern restaurant anytime, anywhere. Alright, so let's begin by firstly making the dough. Well, a few things that you have to make sure whilst making the dough is that we're going to use a process which is called as shortening. In Hindi it's called as moin, which basically what happens is that when you take maida or refined flour and you kind of just rub like this, it basically breaks off the gluten. It breaks off the gluten, and that's what is called shortening, which means that the dough doesn't become stretchy but it becomes very crisp. So that's what we really need to achieve in the dough, and it's very simple. So let's make the dough. Now dough is again maida, which is refined flour, ghee and salt, and simple. So let's begin by making the dough. I've got with me refined flour, and I'm going to add ghee into it, and the most important part to this step is the shortening, which means that you have to rub the flour and the ghee together till they become like breadcrumbs, and then I'm going to show you. So now we can see that this flour and ghee has to be rubbed together so that it becomes like breadcrumbs. So shortening is the main step of this dough, and you can see that the flour has become crumbly, and a good test to this is that when you press it in your knuckles, it should actually just become like this and then broken. So I'm going to just use very little water and make a firm dough. Now the dough is ready. It's not very soft, it's not very hard, it's a firm dough. So that is also a key requirement. Now generally we make nachos with flour tortilla, which is basically nothing but flour, refined flour roti, which is big roti. You cut it into triangles and you deep fry it, or you can bake it. Here we have just basically shortened this because pakwan is made with this dough. So pakwan generally also has ajwain. I've avoided that in the dough. So what I'm doing is now just going to flatten it really thin. That's the key. So if you're cooking along with me, you have to flatten it really thin, and then we're going to cut triangles and deep fry. So it's nice and firm now. So what I'm going to do now is roll this up and then make nachos out of this. Now you could decide to bake these chips or you can deep fry. Well, it's a dal pakwan nachos, so ideally fried, but if you do not like fried, you can also bake it. I'm going to roll this as thin as possible. And then I'm going to cut out triangle shapes. So you can see that the ajwain is looking good, as well as is going to give it a great flavor. All right, nice and thin, about 2 to 3 mm. Now we're just gonna make it into lovely triangular shapes. So just cutting them just like these lovely triangles. Don't worry about these, they can be made into matar matti later, or you could make samosas out of it. So what we have here is a sheet like this. Now this has to be nice and thin, then only it'll become crisp. What we will have to do is just poke them with a fork so that they don't become like fluffy papadis, and then we're going to cut them in triangles. All right, ready to go into a kadhai for frying. Medium hot oil, and these Pakwan / Nachos are ready to fry. Now we need to fry them golden brown, nice and crisp. So now these nachos are nice and golden brown, crispy. I'm going to take them out on a tissue to get the excess oil off. There you go. Now the next step is to make the chana dal. Now this chana dal is been soaked for a few hours now, but if you want to add chana and moong, you can do that also. If you want to only use chana, you can very well use chana. The dal, the texture, the consistency, all that is important. So when we are boiling it in a pressure cooker, 3 steams, that's what we need. 3 steams, and then I will have the boiled dal go into tempering. Alright, so nachos are done, dal is boiled. Now let's get on to doing the dal tadka, which is just tempering the dal. So I'm using onions, tomatoes, it's a nice tangy tadka. So let's make the tadka, let's cook along and let's do the tadka for the dal. Come on. अब दाल पकवान की दाल जो बनेगी भैया, उसमें तड़का बढ़िया लगना चाहिए. It has to be really tasty. So you can start with either oil, or you can have ghee, or you could do a mix of oil and ghee. I generally prefer a mix of oil and ghee. So a large spoon of oil and a small spoon of ghee. As soon as the oil becomes hot, we're gonna splutter some cumin seeds or zira, and as soon as that happens, I'm gonna add a pinch of hing. The next step is to add chopped garlic straight into the pan, and then we're going to brown the garlic. Along with the garlic, I'm going to just add one dried red chili for the tadka. This is going to obviously be used for flavor, and this will come out later. Post that, a nice heaped bowl of chopped onions. These are about 2 medium-sized onions. Once the onion starts to get cooked and become little light brown, that's the time I'm going to add chopped tomatoes. These are again about 2 chopped tomatoes. प्याज टमाटर दोनों भून रहे हैं. अब इसमें डलेगा थोड़ा सा धनिया पाउडर. A lot of people put mirchi powder at this time, but since we are at home and my kids are going to enjoy it, so I'm going to avoid the mirchi powder, and just a pinch of garam masala powder. Now just putting some green coriander, and then will come the boiled chana dal. Just go ahead and add the boiled chana dal. Just like you will boil the chana dal for making your dal dish, this is how the chana dal is boiled, with some salt and some haldi powder. That's it. So now let the dal simmer for about 5 to 7 minutes, and all we need to do is just reduce this water a little bit so that it becomes the consistency of the bean sauce. Yes, we're going to make nachos out of it. So instead of the bean sauce, we are using the chana dal, because dal pakwan is this dal plus pakwan. So let's get on to making the pakwan now. So now the dal is done. Now I'm going to make the pico de gallo for the nachos. Well, pico de gallo or a chunky tomato salsa is an important requirement for making nachos, and since we are treating this as nachos, so it is important that we have a good pico de gallo, and for that I'm going to add diced tomatoes. Try and get as ripe tomatoes as possible. Then instead of the onions, I'm giving it a little bit of a twist, and I'm putting diced spring onions. Now this is going to give it a nice zingy fresh flavor. Some cilantro, lemon juice, and a bit of chili sauce. If sriracha is there, then nothing like it, but you could use any chili sauce, just a little bit, maybe in this much, a tablespoon. Now a bit of salt, and if you want you can add some roasted cumin powder, but that's totally optional. I'm going to add some cracked pepper here. Now just give it a nice stir, and we're going to leave this for about 15 minutes so that the onions and the tomatoes kind of leave some water, and that is going to help marinate these vegetables and become nice and flavorful. So lemon, the chili sauce and the juiciness of the tomatoes is all going to get mixed up. Pico de gallo is ready. You can also add chopped jalapenos in this if you require extra zing. Now once the pico de gallo is done, we need to make the sour cream, and that can be done in two ways. Either you can whip some cream and add lemon juice in it, or you can just take some cream out of a packet and whip it, and then we will add some yogurt in it. So for whipping the cream, it's very important that the cream is nice and chilled, and I want to take it to soft peaks, which means इसे जब तक whip करना है जब तक ये heavy ना हो जाए. So it's going to take about 5 to 7 minutes for whipping, and then it's going to become nice and thick. It's going to take me 5 to 7 minutes to whip this, and then you'll start seeing the soft peaks. Now the next step is to make our sour cream. Here the sour cream. So internationally you can buy sour cream out of a packet, but in India you generally don't get sour cream. What is sour cream? Sour cream is nothing but cream which is made into yogurt. So basically you make yogurt out of milk, but if you actually use the culture into cream, you get sour cream. But if you don't get that also, what you do is you take this cream and you whip it. So while whipping it, it will become a little thicker, but it won't become sour. So I'm going to add a dash of lemon juice and some yogurt into it. So this will become my lovely sour cream for the nachos. Come on, do it. So you can see that the cream has started to become a little thick. It has been almost 5 minutes. I've been whisking it. It's a bit of a time-taking procedure. Okay, now I'm going to add a spoonful of yogurt. If you want to add a little more sourness, then maybe go with 2. And I'm just going to whip it. Okay, so now the sour cream actually is ready. All I need to do is keep it in the freezer for about 10 to 15 minutes so that it becomes nice and firm. So when we put it, it doesn't melt away. This is how I make sour cream. There is another way is that you whip the cream fully and then you add a bit of lemon juice, or you make the sour cream the way it is made. So basically you make dahi out of cream. That's how sour cream is made. So the sour cream is now nice and thick, ready. I'm just going to add a little yogurt, a little salt, touch of salt. Sour cream is ready. So nachos done, dal done, sour cream done, pico de gallo done. All now we need to do is to now start assembling the dal pakwan nachos. Let's do that. Now is the time to plate up the final dish. So we have a nice plate here, and we have a nice plate here, and I'm just going to layer up the nacho chips here, and on top of that will come the lovely dal that we had done. So just like you will plate up nachos, we're going to plate this up. Make sure that your dal is hot, because dal pakwan is best enjoyed hot, topped up with some pico de gallo, nice and tangy. Another layer of the chips. A little more of the chana dal. Well, I've avoided green chilies here or jalapeno. If you want, you can add jalapenos here. They really give a beautiful kick. And again, topping with some more pico. And now finally, I'm just going to top it up with some sour cream. And we're done. Just garnish it with some nice cilantro, and I'm ready to dig in. And as I said, finally, if you have some jalapenos, you can top it up with some jalapenos and some lovely cilantro. It'll give it a nice zing. Who would say that this nacho is any less than the nachos the Mexicans have? Well, I can say that the Sindhis have a better flavor profile. This is great, this is awesome, this is modern Indian. Simple dish, but now looking glorious. Dal Pakwan nachos. Who can resist this amazing crispy nachos with nice tangy dal, pico de gallo यानी कि tomato salsa. Twist amazing है, dish amazing है. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed making over this amazing Sindhi dish called as Dal Pakwan into Dal Pakwan nachos. Now all you need to do is you can either order the DIY kit following the link here because all the proceeds are going to go into the charity, and or you can just download the link and copy the recipe and try it whenever you want to do that at home. If you haven't cooked along, then I must tell you, you have missed something. So you have to make sure that you catch hold of this recipe, make it. It's a lovely easy snack filled with Indian flavors, but yet a makeover to an Indian dish. I hope you enjoyed this masterclass. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay home. If you started to work, then please wear a mask, be safe. Thank you so much.
एक कदम आगे फिर दो कदम पीछे.
हेल्थ और टेस्ट की लड़ाई में अब आप रहिए 2 कदम आगे विद फिलिप्स एयर फ्रायर. इसकी ट्विन टर्बो स्टार टेक्नोलॉजी cooks with up to 90% less fat. There's always a way to make life better. Innovation and you. Philips.